Because, I could totally just record with the sunglasses on, right? Anyway. Okay, let's see how long this lasts. Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Suburban Stitcher podcast. I don't know why, because it's 115 degrees heat index today, but I just felt like podcasting outside. It is just, I have this love-hate relationship with the hot weather. My heart wants to sit outside and enjoy the weather and just really be in it, and yet my body hates it. You can see that I've been into the sun a little bit, so I'm wearing loose clothing. Anyway, so let's talk knitting. Hey y'all, so I needed to jump in here and talk about the prizes for the Around Your Neck Cowl and our amazing sponsors. I want to list them all here because I don't know that I have yet named in the podcast all of our amazing sponsors and what they've donated for giveaways. So sponsors have donated a prize to the Knit Along that one of you will win, or more than one of you, depending on what they have donated. Also, they have, or if you use their product or their pattern or whatever, then you get extra points towards winning prizes. So our sponsors are Boo Knits, and she has donated one pattern collection of the winner's choice, which is extremely generous. Java Pearl Designs has donated 5 copies of a shawl or cowl pattern from her shop. Jennifer Lassonde has donated a copy of the Emmeline May shawl. Kitchen Counter Crafter has made a donation of a bag that will be determined. I believe it's the winner's choice, but I will confirm that. Lavender Loon Yarn Company has donated a skein of yarn that I brought back with me from Zombie Knitpocalypse, and that will get shipped directly to you. Mrs. Brown's Bags has donated a zippered bag and a notebook, and that will be shipped directly to you from me. Queen City Yarn has donated an item of the winner's choice up to $35. Remade by Hand Designs has donated 3 patterns of the winner's choice. Sarah Monte Designs has donated 5 patterns from her shop. Suburban Stitcher, my shop. Prizes I haven't determined, but there will be a bag, yarn, several prizes from me. And that's it. That rounds out our sponsors. So I just want to say thank you so much to our sponsors for reaching out to me. Every single one of these people reached out to me and wanted to donate a prize to this Knit Along. And I am flattered that this many people want to support my podcast and want to support this Knit Along. So please support them by visiting their shops and downloading their patterns and knitting them. Yes, Around Your Neck Cowl. Participate. I am sort of newly re-participating. Anyway, I want to jump right into finished objects. I finished 2 shawls this week, you guys. It's kind of amazing. So I talked last week about my Delphinia shawl, which is a test knit for Amba O'Brien. And this is out of Suburban Stitcher yarn. You can see it's a large triangular shawl. I will put it around my neck so you can see, but it's going to promptly come off. It's got a pretty deep V, but then it's got long ties. Mine is actually about 20 inches shorter than the pattern calls for. And that's just my gauge, and I even went up a needle size, so I clearly either didn't knit as loosely or didn't block as loosely as she did. But yeah, super fun. I like the colors because they're different than, maybe I would have normally been drawn to, but I sort of challenged myself to pick not pink or purple. And even though this has a little bit of purple in it, I don't feel like this reads as a purple shawl. So anyway, so that is done. Like this one right now, finished blocked size is about 70 to 72 inches long, well longer than my wingspan, and about 24 inches long at the point. So super cute, very easy to knit. Should be out in a few weeks, I believe. So yeah, this is knit in Suburban Stitcher yarn, and the salted caramel is this golden brown, and this multicolor is Bourbon Street Blues. And I am actually putting together a few shawl kits for some people that have requested those. So if you would like one in these colors, or if you have a special request for colors that you would like it in out of some of my colorways, I would be happy to put that together for you. So that is Delphinia. The second shawl that I finished this week. Oh, and I want to say this took about, it was a little less than 600 yards total. So it was maybe 60% of each skein of yarn. So I did have, or maybe 60 to 70%. I feel like I had about 30 grams left of each one, a little less than 30. So there was some extras, and if it had not been a test knit, I will say that I would have gone bigger, because I seriously, some of it is because I'm not a small girl, and so having a small shawl feels weird. Also, the smallest part on my body is my neck, and so sometimes I feel like to even out the girth on the bottom, that it's helpful to draw emphasis up here. And I feel like I have a pretty decent neck, like I've got room for a shawl. So yeah, so shawls and cowls and accessories I just love, because I feel like I can get away with, you know, a bigger one and wrapping it. So anyway, if that helps you make the decision on that shawl when it comes out. This second shawl was a work in progress from last year, 2016, and I finally finished it. And this is called Spectrum, and it is a very interestingly shaped and constructed shawl, and it's by Hoagie Locatelli. Two colors. You start at this end with, I used a solid kind of charcoal gray, and both of these are Madeline Tosh Merino Light. I don't remember exactly what color this was, but this one was Technicolor Dreamcoat, the multicolored. And as you can see, it sort of keeps going in sort of chevron-y sections, and then you get less and less of the gray and more of the multicolor to get to the very end. So this one, the way that I wear this is this long thing down there. I act as kind of the point of the shawl. So I have been styling it sort of on purpose for this little point sort of hangs off-centered like that, and then this kind of goes like that. It's typically what I've been doing. So I don't remember the exact yardage, but all of my, I'm going to say again, this one was right around 600 yards, so about 150 grams-ish of fingering weight yarn. I did not block this one super aggressively. I just sort of soaked it and laid it out and made the top edge super straight, and then everything else I just sort of straightened and tugged on a little bit, but not too crazy amounts. So those are my finished objects. And I may be not long for this outside, because it's starting to get super hot. But so we're in a developing neighborhood still. We've lived here for 10 years. This week, actually, Monday was 10 years, July 17th. And, or Sunday or Monday, whatever day that was. Yeah, Monday. So 10 years this week we've lived in this house. and it is still developing. They're still building homes in our neighborhood, and they have just kind of started a new section. And so a lot of the sounds that you're hearing maybe are the trucks that are going, big concrete trucks and delivery trucks, building parts for the new sections. So because of that, and because I feel like I am potentially melting, I am going to take the rest of this episode inside. So I will see you next from my air-conditioned craft room, and we'll be talking about works in progress. Hi. So I'm in my craft room, and it is considerably cooler. I've turned on a few of the lights. Last week I don't think I did, and it was, there's some shadows behind me, but hopefully at least the color and the picture is a little bit clearer. And I'm going to be drinking tea in my huge Route 44 ounces of diet green tea with peach. I was just telling some of my friends that during the summer, I pretty much have to talk myself out of getting this every single day because it's so tasty and refreshing. And yes, I know I can make something similar at home for much cheaper, but I go between 2 and 4 every day when drinks are half price. So that's how I justify it. Okay, so let's talk works in progress. So I finished those 2 shawls, and then I thought, okay, I sort of had this, like, I'm feeling a little itchy about the amount of works in progress that I have right now, and that doesn't happen that often. I don't guilt myself over that anymore. If you go back to my early, couple years, I, would have all these goals for every year and how many projects I would allow myself to have on the needles and how much like yardage in and yardage out. And life is too short. Sometimes you just want something. Sometimes you want to cast on 7 things at once, and it's okay. It's just okay. This was in a bag that I made myself. This size has never been in the shop. But it's just a nice, big, huge bag, which is perfect for this shawl. The shawl I'm knitting is called Parker Street. I don't think I brought the pattern over, of course. But I just finished. So this is knit. First of all, let's say it's by Soft Sweater Knits. I think it's Sylvia McFadden. Is that her name? But she has lovely, lovely designs on Ravelry. I started this last September, right before my husband went out of town, and I thought, oh man, this would be great. Keep me, focused while he's gone. I didn't finish it. I did a decent amount, but I didn't finish it. But some of that is also because I decided to enlarge this thing because a huge worsted / Aran weight shawl wasn't going to be big enough. Yeah, this thing is going to weigh a ton and be so amazingly huge when it's done, and I cannot wait. So the yarn that I'm using, let's talk about that. It is Madeline Tosh worsted 80-10-10, which is 80% merino, 10% nylon, 10% cashmere in the tart colorway. That color, at least right there, is pretty accurate. You can see that it's got a very large kind of top garter stitch band up here, and then this really interesting lace motif. I think holding it back against the wall is the best way to sort of see what's happening, and it just repeats itself all down the shawl, and then it sort of ends in a big garter stitch kind of edging. Without giving too much away, there's 3 charts to the shawl, A, B, and C. You do A, you do B twice, and then you do C. And I decided to do B 3 times in order to make the shawl larger. Because I had initially bought this yarn for a sweater, and I just knew that it was not a sweater that I was ever going to wear this color. It's just, A shawl is one thing, but I don't know that I would wear a garment in this color. And again, I think I've talked about that before. But a big, cozy, wintry, burgundy, cranberry colored shawl will be amazing. And like, so where I am at right now in the shawl is I've completed chart A. I have completed 3 repeats of chart B, which again is an extra repeat. And I am on the way to chart C. Chart C has 29 rows, and then you do about 12 or 13 rows of garter stitch for the actual edging to finish it off. So I am sitting at about 40 rows left on this shawl. The good thing about this is worsted to Aran weight. So even though I've got 40 more rows, and yes, it is getting bigger, it is nowhere near the stitch count of, say, a big fingering weight shawl that if it were to get this big. So, because this thing is already at least 24 inches long, and it's not blocked and not stretched out. But it is, like, that is the top to bottom width of this. That's that. And that's unblocked lace, just barely stretched out, and it's almost half my wingspan. So the shawl is going to be huge. I literally am making this shawl as it may not ever leave the house, but it's going to be just a wrap up on the couch watching TV when I'm in bed, and my husband has it at, 0 degrees in the bedroom, even in the winter. I love being cold. I love the cold and the circulation, but my skin, I just feel it so much quicker than he does, I guess. And even though I love sleeping in that while I'm trying to go to sleep, or if I'm sitting in bed reading or knitting, it's really quite cold for me. So this is my solution to that, and I just love the lace. I love lace in general, but this is going to be super, super fun. So this is Parker Street by Soft Sweater Knits, who again I believe is Sylvia McFadden, but I could be wrong. So that is going. My goal today is July 20th, the day I'm recording this, and I would love to have that off the needles by the end of July. So that seems like a pretty reasonable goal. Really, if I do four rows a day, I should be able to do that. Oh, that's nothing. I'm adding that into the quota. Okay, so socks. My Desert Vista Dye Works monthly socks. I have almost finished the first sock tube. This is the O. Clark colorway, and it is, as you can see, a blue, red, and then this multicolored rainbow stripe. I like this. It's great. Easy, fun colorway, perfect for July. I have one more stripe repeat to go, and then the ribbing on this first sock tube. So going gangbusters with that one, and that will, get worked on a little bit every day as well. And then another sock whip that I pulled out of the rotation, or pulled back out of hibernation, I guess I should say. This is my oldest sock whip, which kind of is exciting for me. I last year kind of went crazy for Socktober, that the Carolina Fiber Girls host every year, and I finished 10 pairs of socks, and I think only 2 of those were ones that I started and finished in October, and the rest of them were sock whips, because I had just really concentrated on sort of stockpiling them for the winter. But this was a pair that did not get finished, and that was fine. But I started it over a year ago, and it needs to be done. I think I started them in November or December of 2015, so it's time for these to be done. But these are a sock blank from Lone Star Arts, and it is a sparkle sock blank, and the colorway is Vintage Holiday Party. And this is what the sock blank looked like to begin with. Just lots of red and pink with little green. and even maybe some gray. Yeah, there's some gray kind of stuck in the background. And I finished the first sock sometime last year, I believe. Or maybe it was this, either last fall before Christmas or like January this year. I can't remember. So the first sock is done, looking fabulous in all of its sock blank craziness. And the second sock, at some point this year, I had gotten just past the heel. So I had gotten, to like right there. It's a fish lips kiss heel. And so all I had left on this sock was the leg and the cuff. And the reason I stopped working on it was because, quite frankly, it was not going to earn me points for the knit along for ZK. That's a ridiculous reason, but it hibernated for 6 months because I was only knitting on things and concentrating on things that would earn me points for Team Blue. And these didn't because they were started before this year. So this week, I guess was 2 days ago, Tuesday, I was taking my son to the movie, and this sock I didn't want to take because it just had too little to go before the ribbing, and I knew I wouldn't be able to see in the theater and then wouldn't be able to tell to start the ribbing, and so it just wasn't at a good spot for movie theater knitting. And this one, I pulled this out to see kind of where it was because I couldn't remember, and it was at a perfect spot because I had the entire leg to go. So that's what I've done. I have knit really almost the entire leg. I think I looked on my Ravelry page because I kept pretty good notes, and sorry, now we're getting lawnmowers. The yard people are here to mow the lawn, and it's going to be loud for a little bit. I'm very sorry. But I knit 170 rounds for this sock, and I am at about 140 to 150, somewhere in that range. Here's 100. And so I started knitting it at about 85 to 90. And so I've knit, 50 plus rounds in a couple of days. Really, not even yesterday, mostly it was Tuesday. And so I've just maybe got 20, 25 rounds and a cuff to go, and this one will be done, which is great because that's my oldest sock whip, and that feels extra virtuous. So what that means is, I did a count this morning. I have 13 sock whips. It's ridiculous. But this will be 12 soon, and then by the end of the month, 11. And I don't think I have really any plans or like imminent desire to cast on a new pair of socks. I'm hoping to pare down a couple more. I have 4 pairs of socks though, not including this one, that are Christmas socks, and I really should start working on those because then I have more Christmas socks in the drawer for this year to add into the rotation. I need to not just work on them in December. So maybe that will kind of be what I focus on next, is finishing some of those Christmas socks. Oh, and I guess I should say both of these actually are my bags. This one is from a kit I did a couple of years ago with Desert Vista Dye Works. And this is also one of my bags from a kit a couple of years ago that I did with Mustache Yarn. And the last project that I have been working on in my fringe supply bag, but it will not be in here for very long because this will not hold it for very long. And you can see my pins collection is growing. I drove through Omaha on the way to and from ZK, and I was able to go and pick up a World Series pin, which excites me. And then this one is a new one this week that gin bottle. It looks like a bottle of Hendrix to me, which is why I bought it. So that's pretty fun. So I have officially, once I finished that test knit shawl, I kept my word, and I have started my sweater. This is the Ilia cardigan by Michelle Wang of Brooklyn Tweed, or for Brooklyn Tweed. Yes, not of Brooklyn Tweed, for Brooklyn Tweed. Let's be specific about that. I am knitting this out of, I have a label here, Wisconsin Woolen Spun for Barrett Wool Co. This is the fingering weight version, and this is the birch colorway. I believe it is an undyed natural color, I would imagine, but I don't know for sure. So this is my first skein of 9. So we'll definitely be doing a skein watch a la Prairie Girl Danny on this one. We're still on skein 1, but yes, they're pretty big. And so, okay, so here I started with the sleeve because I figured if for some reason the gauge looks wrong or I'm having issues, then it's just a sleeve. She does not start with the sleeves, but I'm starting with the sleeves because I want to knit one and then wash it and block it and just make sure that things look right. Because if I had done like an entire back of a sweater instead of just a sleeve, it would be much more dramatic. So this is my sleeve so far. As you can see, it is flat. This is knit all flat and in pieces, and every single bit of this sweater is seamed, which means it's going to be extra amazing and tailored and awesome when it's all done. Sorry, I keep moving this, but there's tons of cables. I have had to go down twice and do cable surgery to fix them, and I have been successful both times, which is kind of amazing. I would show you where. I think one of the spots was here. That cable that's going behind there, something was wrong with that one. And then there was something over here in one of these cables that was wrong as well, and but I fixed it. 2 things that I love about this sweater so far. One, it's just the fact that I'm able to do it is kind of amazing and awesome to me. I'm like kind of have like geeking out over the fact that I have done this, because this feels like big girl adult knitting. The other thing that I love, just this particular design detail, and it's in the pattern, it's not like it's any, thing, it's awesome to me, is that, so I'm increasing for the sleeves, and as you increase, like here I started off with just this plain section, but as you add stitches, you get to add in the design motif so that you don't have these big, huge plain stockinette sections underneath your sleeve. It starts working in the pattern as it gets bigger. Sorry about the blower. It's kind of annoying. So anyway, this is Ilia. This is a little over 1 repeat. Not much, maybe 1 1/3 pattern repeats. I work on it every day, even if it's just 4 or 5 rows, which most days that's all it is because cables are intense and not the best on my hands. But if I do 4 or 5 rows a day, then eventually it's going to get done. So that's kind of how we are looking right now. That's just an estimate of, actually it will probably be a little tiny bit looser unblocked, and then of course blocked it'll loosen up a little more, which is perfect. I made a spreadsheet for my sleeve increases so that I know what to do. That doesn't give anything away, it just says chart, increase, increase. So that as I'm repeating the chart over and over again, I would keep track of which repeat I was on, because the ratio at which you repeat changes partway through. And so this way I'm literally just highlighting as I do what I do. What else about this cardigan? Talked about the yarn, I talked about the pattern, I talked about all of the... Oh, sizing. I am knitting the 46 and a half. It says to knit it with a 3, let me look in the book so that I'm telling you the exact. Okay, so I am knitting the 46 and a half inch size, which is the large, I'm assuming. It says that there is an intended ease of positive 3 to 5 inches, which my bust around, my actual bust is 40. My underarm bust right here is 38. And because it's intended to be oversized, if I have a couple of extra inches on a supposed to be a little big grandpa cardigan, I'm not sad about it. So because of that, I did not want to go with the 43, because that just felt like it was going to potentially be a little too fitted for what I was looking for. I want it to be oversized. I want it to be like the, you know, lazy Saturday morning cozy cardigan. So yeah, so I am knitting the 46 and a quarter inch size, which is the 4th size, 4th out of 6, and it goes up to a 52 and a half inch finished dimension. And like I said, I'm somewhere between a 38 to a 40, depending on which you go by for your measurement. The other reason that I wanted to pick that size is that I may be that up here. My hips and my waist goes in, but my hips, you know, change drastically. That's my body type, is definitely a generous pear shaped. So anyway, so that is Ilya. Get all this back in here. I just love it. Isn't she so pretty? I will not show this every time, because there may be some weeks that all I have done is a repeat of progress, and you will get sick to death about hearing about that. But I promise that every month or, you know, so I will check back in with progress. And then if you want to see more, make sure to follow me on Instagram as well, because I've been pretty good about posting a little more frequent updates over there. So that is it really for my works in progress that I've been working on, which a sweater, a shawl, and a sock or two. And that's been it. And that's kind of feeling good about that. I feel like that's why I've been able to get stuff done. I do have one stash enhancement to show you for this week. And actually two. One is yarn and then one is an accessory. I showed you the pen. It's really, there's 3, but 2 of them are so small. I got that pen. I ordered it on Etsy, and if you're interested in the person, I can link it for you, or you can message me. You know that I love stitch markers and clay stitch markers, and this is a new to me creator of clay stitch markers, and this is just so stinking cute. And this is by Little Bitty Delights, and it is a orange dreamsicle, like ice cream popsicle. I just had to have it. That's my favorite, probably one of my favorite desserts, other than cake. Orange, if I'm gonna get a like a snowball or a shaved ice or whatever they're called in whatever part of the country you're in, I think that's pretty regional. Sorry, I have something in my teeth. But yeah, so super, super cute. And it looks very well made, and I'm excited to use it. So, little bitty delights. Thank you so much. Super duper fun. I love the bite marks in it. That's like extra cute. So I got the stitch marker, I got the pen, and this is potentially the best deal of the century. So as you have seen, I'm slightly sweater obsessed right now. I'm working on finishing my whips, but I am totally in sweater mode. I want to have sweaters to wear. And I would love to knit the, I hesitate to even try to say it, Damiakalopa, something like that. It's the flea cardigan or the flea sweater that Penny Gurry designed, and Kristen of Woollenvine is doing a knit along for that, along with the Skein Deer Knits podcast. And I had seen that cardigan when it came out. It's been a couple of years, I believe, and loved it. I remember in the early to mid 90s asking for a very Norwegian inspired kind of ski cardigan for Christmas. I believe that it came from Victoria's Secret catalog. And it was black with white kind of designs and speckles, and I think it had a little bit of red maybe too. But of course this was the early to mid 90s, and so it was like cropped with a lot of ribbing and long sleeves and like a long turtleneck. And I say like I wouldn't wear that now if it wasn't in my size, but anyway, so I have always had a fascination and a love for stranded knitting, and in particular very very detailed Norwegian, Scandinavian looking kind of traditional things. This sweater, I would say, kind of fits that bill with a modern take on it because of the colors. So I was watching Skein Deer, and I can't think of her name because it's not Skein Deer, obviously. I was watching her podcast, and she was showing off her swatches, either for this sweater or another sweater. And she was talking about this yarn. And I want to show it to you in this form. And this is Holst Garn, super soft. It's in 50 gram put-ups. And I went searching for it online. And I, was searching in different places in the US and Canada, thinking maybe I can just, get it at least in my continent. And it should be a little cheaper. And then I ended up making my way over to the actual Holst Garn website, and come to find out that with the exchange rate and the price that they sell it in their shop for, it is ridiculously cheap. And the amount of colors, I say cheap, inexpensive, that's, you know what I mean, ridiculously inexpensive. The exchange rate is so good for the US for this yarn right now. I bought 15 50 grams, so what is that? 750 grams. I think, right? If my math is right, 750 grams of yarn straight from Denmark that arrived to me in 9 days. And that was over 2 weekends, actually, because I think I ordered it on a Friday evening. So it had the first weekend, and then it got to me the following Monday. And it cost me $45 US. That's including the shipping. So 750 grams for $45. More than enough to make the sweater, because once I determined that it was going to be that inexpensive for me to purchase, I purchased extra colors to be able to play around with my color work a little bit. So this is how they sent it to me, which is the most beautiful presentation ever because it's a rainbow. So anyway, long-winded explanation to talk about the sweater. I am so excited about starting this. I haven't even opened this yet. Look at now. I can tell, I can smell it, and also I've heard, and I can feel it on the inside of the bag. This is still there is still spinning oil on this yarn. I've heard that from Skein Deer talks about it. Who else talked about it? Norway. Oh shoot, what is her name? You're screaming at the phone. I mean, at the computer right now. The beautiful, lovely, very delicate. She has curly hair, and she's living in Stitch in Sweden. Stitch in Sweden. Podcast has knit with this before. Oh my gosh, this color is amazing. Obviously, I'm basically, when this washes, it's going to be so good. It definitely is woolly wool. So, I mean, it's woolly wool. It smells like spinning oil. It is a little bit greasy, a little bit, but not greasier than like feeling, well, maybe a little greasier than like lanolin feels. But I have been told that once it washes up that it's a dream. I know that, is it Maria Monska of Stitch in Sweden washes her, anytime she uses Holstgarn, she washes it first. So that's interesting to know. I don't know what I will do first, but okay, so here's the plan. I have this color. I bought 4 of these, which is a dark charcoal gray called Slate Gray. This is the main body of my sweater. This color that is called Nougat is for my little flea stitches. So they're going to be like 1 stitch little dots all the way around. So that is Nougat. So that's the main color, kind of a gray, charcoal, and white colors. And then the colors that I bought to play with, I bought a black, or almost black. It's called Graphite. So it's slightly darker than the sweater color. So I bought Graphite. I bought this one that you saw. This was called Sweet Pea. Gosh, all of these look gorgeous together. You're going to laugh when you see the rest of these colors. Really? Okay. So, wow. Those look pretty. Eee. The funny thing is that Sweet Pea probably won't end up being in here. I bought Calypso, which is sort of a leaf green. This is called Maize, kind of a yellow, golden, light golden yellow. These look pretty together. But I don't want it to be too springy because this is going to be a winter sweater. So I went for some darker colors as well. I got Peony, which is a bright pink, and So Me. I got Magenta, sort of a bright orchidy magenta color. Amethyst, pretty purple. And the last accent possibility is Aquamarine, pretty blue. I kind of love these 3 together a lot. And since it's black, I could see, or dark gray, I could totally see using these with that to stand out from the gray. But I also really like the look of something like this. Aren't you glad you're sitting here working this out with me? With this, something like that. I'm just afraid that this one would be a little too springy. But I also have this black as a possibility. So who knows? Lots of options. And that is why you swatch with this sweater. And to be quite honest, even if I don't like these, then it was so inexpensive for me to get this yarn that I could easily purchase 10 more colors as options and still not feel like I'm spending crazy money for this sweater. As it stands right now, this sweater will cost me less than $45 because, as you can see, I have way more colors possibilities than I do need for the sweater. So that is it for knitting and works in progress and finished objects and stash enhancement, hello lovelies, all of that. Hi. So the last thing I want to talk about is shop update, shop news. The first thing is I have a few of these, and I haven't decided if I'm going to list them as a kit or separate, but the yarn that I used for my shawl, I've had several inquiries about it. This is the Salted Caramel and Bourbon Street Blues colorways. This is actually on the single sock, but there are some available in glitter sock and regular sock. But this is the base that I use for the shawl, the single ply. So I'll be putting some of those in the shop. There is a ton of DK weight right now. There's actually, I believe, a sweater quantity of peach tea that's in the shop right now. There is a sweater quantity, peach tea on DK. There is a sweater quantity of azaleas on fingering on sock, and also a sweater quantity of Grape Expectations on glitter sock that are available in the shop right now. There is, okay, so bags that are in the shop right now. I have this really sweet library cats with the mouse lining. I have drawstring. This is super fun. This is a Tula Pink bag pattern. I love the cat eye lining. So this is my mini drawstring. This is the zippered bag. The zippered bag that also has the cat eye lining. And let's see, I have some sushi drawstrings that are so cute, so fun. It's kind of on a light aqua background. Those are the mini drawstrings, perfect for sock knitting. I have, can't remember what I called these, but maybe like soda pop or cola or something like that. But they're bottle caps with different sodas on the outside, and then it has the names of different soda pop beverages on the inside. There's kind of a varied, no, they're all the same zipper color. I thought for some reason that those were different. I think I called these retro chickens. Just because they looked pretty fun. So retro chickens. And the lining on this one is just kind of a white and black line drawing. I have a large zip of the Tabby Road. I have see what else. Lots of whip minders. Lots and lots of whip minders. I have these sweet Little Red Riding Hood bags are still in the shop, which these are still in there. They've been in there for a little while. I think they are the cutest thing ever. They're like Little Red Riding Hood matryoshka bags, sort of. Is kind of what they look like to me. And then with a just white tonal dot so that you can see the inside. Something new that is in the shop that I, every once in a while I will come across good deals. I had these for ZK and they were received quite well, I think. And they're just really beautiful, beautifully made, very inexpensive for me to pass on to you guys, the price. And they're such a great deal. Like they're just so great. So I found these at a local resource here in the Houston area. And I just had to get some for the shop. So there are some canvas bags that there are several designs for little notions sized. I was going to look and see if I had something. Okay, so here's my phone. And that's the bag size. So it's a generous notions bag. But it is not like boxed or anything. It's just flat. But this one says beautiful day with pretty flowers. And the cost on these is $10. So it's a very, very inexpensive little sweet little bag. I have some sprinkled donuts. I have hello, which was cute. And then I have happy day. So that was fun. And then I have some of these tote bags. It's the same company, same really great, nice, thick canvas. And it says, oh, what a beautiful day. And these are 15, I believe. Yep, these are 15. So such a great gift. And if you're, into vinyling or monogramming or something like that, there's plenty of room on the back to, where you could get it and then do your own custom monogram or vinyl or something like that. So that is also something that's in the shop that I hadn't really spotlighted. So if you've seen them in there and wondered, why does she have these now and what are they? That's what they are. And it's just, it will be this kind of thing or other, little sewing, knitting, crochet adjacent items that, if I come across them and I can pass them on to you at a good price and at a deal, then I'm happy to do so. So these are a steal of a deal right now. Okay, so I think that is it for shop update news. There is still so much yarn in the shop right now. I have tons of lace weight, lots of single ply on all the bases. I'm looking over here because that's my wall of yarn. Lots of glitter sock and regular sock. The one thing that I have noticed that is going quite a bit are my accent colors, I guess is what I'll call them. So like my coal, which is my dark kind of charcoal gray, my eggplant, which is a plummy eggplant color, my darkest night, which is a navy, and black orchid, which is a dark purple with like a black overtone to it. So it's quite dark. Those are the colors that go quite quickly, and I know because I do the same thing. They're the ones that you want as go-withs, for those 2-color shawls or 3-color shawls, and you need a darker kind of grounding color. So I am just basically constantly working on restocking those in the shop. If there is a specific color that you are looking for or would like to see that you don't see either stocked in the shop right now or one that you've never seen from me that you would like, hey, I really would love a chocolate brown, which by the way is something I'm working on, kind of a coffee chocolate brown color. just let me know, and I'm happy to do special orders. I probably actually need to reactivate that special order button because I am at a place right now where that's something I can offer again. So anyway, that's shop update news, and yes, all right, that's it. Bye, guys. Pay no attention to the wasp nest hanging from the eave.